DIPG brain cancer. There's no cure. The family's raised over $100,000. I posted something up about a couple years ago with an event they did. They texted me September 12th of this year. They're going to do the 1 mile 5K run. So check it out. We always film it every year. All right. Let's see what we got here. Bang, look at that shot. You guys set it up perfectly every week. Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. They got all kind of events there. They rent the place out, have a great library, great tea place for me. Reginald's Coffee, fresh roasted ground tea, and then fresh roasted coffee from all over the world. Check it out. They even have Wi-Fi for Smoking Jim. We'll have to share a tea. Since he's into tea, I'll have to see if I can find one he can drink. All right, another 501c3. Whoop. There's a little breeze. There we go.
We're getting a little long in the tooth.
What are you talking about?
Not you. Not you.
Bethel Park Community Foundation has grants for you from $100 to $5,000. Go to bpcf.org, get an application. I'm a trustee. Bring it to the trustees. We meet every couple months. We've given out $1 million in 25 years, and we plan on giving out a lot of money this year too. So get a hold of us and bring your plea in there for us. Next up, look at the fun Dave Cable has with me. There's my smiling face on Uncle Sam. I want you for BPTV. Volunteer today like Connor, like Nick, like Anthony, me, Smoking Jim, and Chip. We're all volunteering here. 412-831-3304. Just give Dave Cable a call and say you want to volunteer. All right, we'll test Connor on this next one. I think I caught my breath now. Okay. Let's see what we can do. Should I hold it up a little? Whoa! 6103 Route 88. Skeets Service Station, owned by Skeets Lewandowski. He sponsors our What's on Your Mind, and he fixes anything and everything that runs on gas. Chip always says make sure you got gas, but I made sure they have an extra gallon nearby if you're a little short or you just made it to the shop like Smoking Jim does. They can add that gallon of gas in there. And they've been doing this for years. Red, White, and Blue Station, about 6 miles from here. Give them a call, 724-348-4715. Tell them Al Levine, the talking machine, said, you got to come here. All right, let's go to What's on Your Mind, Smoking Jim.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
whoa, here it's coming.
You got to see Levine. I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine. Loosen up, Chip. The Pirates will win again. But what's on my mind?
Good start.
What's on my mind? Al Levine, the talking machine.
What is on your mind?
There's a little bit of boxing. You guys know I love boxing. Any combat sport. I like to see a knockout, even if it's my good friend getting knocked out. I don't care. I go to boxing to see somebody get knocked out. And I tell you what, a guy that I've been saying is one of the greatest fighters I've ever seen in my lifetime, Canelo Alvarez, is an outstanding fighter. Just want to talk about him briefly. He fought another undefeated fighter this weekend, Billy Joe Saunders. Put him in the hospital, pretty much knocked his eye socket out of joint, man, with an uppercut. This is a guy that's 56, 1-2. He's basically 135 pounds, but he went all the way up to light heavyweight, 175. No, he fights anybody, anywhere. He's one of 8 kids. He's the youngest. 6 of his older brothers all turned professional boxers. One was even a world champion. So he grew up fighting. turned pro at 15.
Wow.
You know, and this is
Where
a good-
at? Mexico.
Yeah, somewhere down there in Mexico. You know,
They don't need ID.
Well, he was not with him. He's a red-headed Mexican. He had to fight. Can you imagine? El Levine, the talking machine. He was being bullied. I love this kid. He's a fighter. He's tough. And I tell you what, El Levine, the talking machine, they keep talking about Jamal Charlo, the Charlo brothers. They say he's ducking them. They say he's ducking Earl Spence. But this is a fighter. If you want to fight this kid, then you fight. He has 56 fights. They're all the same age, 31. These other guys got 21 and 25 fights. If you want to fight the best, you got to go ahead and fight.
You didn't rhyme it. What happened? You didn't
No
rhyme it.
rhyme. No rhyme with this one. But El Levine, the talking machine, you look at Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
All he's saying is everybody's ducking him. He ain't fought in almost 2 years. The great fighters fight. If it's in your blood, you fight. Canelo Alvarez already had 2 fights this year and probably will have 2 more before the end of the year. He fights anybody. So that's what's on my mind. Congratulations to a guy that I think is one of the top 10 greatest fighters of all time and maybe top 5 by the time he retires, Canelo Alvarez.
So, you know, so what you're trying to say then is that if you think you're a great fighter and you wait to fight your best opponents until they're past their prime, that you're not really
Good point.
a great
And I
fighter.
want to say this too. And El
Carry on.
Levine will back me up.
I don't know.
I'm almost
What's
a-
he
Will
going to
you?
say?
I'm almost like
What will
Rocky
he say?
Marciano when it comes to betting on fights. I'm almost undefeated,
In
Except
other
for-
words,
Except for
little
when he
disclaimer.
loses.
except for
He's only won 1 time out of 50 fights.
except for I'm the only one on the planet that predicted Tyson Fury, who never had a knockout in his life, would knock out Deontay Wilder, who's never been down before. I'm the only one that predicted that. El Levine.
Check
the
the
only
tape.
fights I lost, and I lost a lot of them, was Money
One-
Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather. And I just found out this week, Floyd Mayweather, when he beat Canelo Alvarez was a young kid then, and I lost a ton of money. But I heard this week, through my journalistic prowess, I heard this week that the night before the fight, Alvarez's brother was kidnapped. So he kind of threw the fight, in my opinion. His brother was kidnapped. You couldn't fight if one of your
Smoking
brothers
Jim,
was...
I got a suggestion for
I
you.
did
know
my
about that.
research.
I got a suggestion for you. Why don't you just do an interview with Canelo? Because I know you speak Spanish. You had at least 2 years of it in high school. Why don't you just interview him and find out if his brother was kidnapped and by who?
I took Spanish 1 in 10th grade,
Okay.
and I quit halfway through, and I didn't think I had enough Spanish, so I took Spanish 1 again the next year and went halfway through and quit again. So I got Spanish.
Then you should take up
Yeah, I
my
got some
suggestion
Spa- I
and
got some
interview
Spanish.
Canelo. Please get an interview. You heard it here first, folks. Thank you, Smoking Jim. Wow. And his record on betting boxers is weak at best. In my opinion. Very weak. Especially when we're announcing fights that are amateurs and he's telling me there's a knockdown or there was a knockout and there was a slip. I leave that. Chip, what's on your mind?
Well, good evening, everybody, and sorry for my absence last week, but work called. I'm going to do something tonight live and in living color that Smoking Jim has never done at any point in his life.
Whoa.
I was wrong.
Oh!
Yes, sir.
I know what it was about.
Yes, sir. I was wrong at the beginning of the year. I said the
knew it.
Pittsburgh Penguins had the weakest team that I had ever seen go into the season. I said that the Pittsburgh Penguins would not make the playoffs. And lo and behold, the Pittsburgh Penguins won their division.
Number one.
Number one, won the division. I think the best thing that could have happened to this team was that Jim, the trader, Rutherford, left. Well, let's just say, let's call a spade a spade. He quit 7 games into the season while he was still under contract. and he quit on his team.
Race car.
And the second best thing that happened was the new general manager and president of operations left the team intact. They made one move, and it was a genius move. They picked up Jeff Carter from the LA Kings. And the genius part of the move was they got the LA Kings to pay half of his salary for this year and for next.
And tell him what he's done in 14 games.
In 14 games, he scored, what? 9 goals.
Yeah.
9 goals. He had one game where he scored 4 goals. Now, Jeff Carter has won a couple of Stanley Cups.
Yes.
At 36 years old, he's picked up a step. He hasn't lost
He
a
has
step.
speed, yeah.
He's one of the fastest skaters on the team. He's turned around the Penguins' third line into a viable option. And so that leads us to Sunday at noon against the New York Islanders. And I wish I could say I was comfortable with the fact that the Penguins are playing the Islanders in the first round of the playoffs. And let's flash back to 2019 in the
Yes.
first round of the playoffs, and a certain New York Islanders team coached by Barry Trotz, nonetheless, swept the Penguins in 4 games. And so I think the Penguins are going to have their work cut out for them. They've got an untested goaltender who's got 1 game of playoff experience. Their backup goaltender has none. But
other than that, they look good.
today, I mean, this year, they performed very well. They started off the season rocky, solidified in the midseason, but they've had some lapses.
Yeah.
The Penguins' defense has improved considerably. Chris Letang is not making the mistakes that causes teams to lose games in the regular season. Now, if that same Chris Letang can carry that forward into the playoffs, I give the Penguins a chance. Evgeny Malkin has been conspicuous by his absence.
Yeah.
And the Penguins, I felt, were skating as a better team without him than they are with him. But everybody says that they need him to
Move on.
to move on. But if we do get past the Islanders, the Boston Bruins lie in wait. The Bruins and the Capitals go head to head. I like our chances better against the Capitals than I do the Bruins. The Bruins' top line is easily one of the best in hockey,
yeah.
and I think it's better than our top line.
And their goaltending's been
With
good,
Pasternak, Marchand, and
Yeah, Marchand's a beast.
and you know, I can't I forget the
You're
order.
on
But I digress. But congratulations to the Pittsburgh Penguins on the Eastern Division title this year. You proved me wrong, and it's a pretty good feeling.
Wow. Thank
That-
you, Chip.
that's
I
what's on my
appreciate
mind.
that. Smoking Jim wants to know why you
If
apologize.
the Penguins, I don't remember you saying that, but I'm glad you
I
apologized.
do.
I do
Chip
remember.
does. We all know.
But if the Penguins beat New York,
Yes.
and then somehow Boston gets past Ovechkin, and they beat Boston, are they in the Stanley Cup, or is there another
No.
round?
There's 4 rounds in the hockey.
4 rounds.
So what's going to happen is, after the first round, I believe, what they're going to
only been on
do
about
is
10
after the
years,
first
folks.
2
We're
rounds, I
all right.
believe they're going to reseed the teams.
Okay.
Okay, so
don't
that
like
what's
that.
going to happen is the number 1 rated team's going to play the 4, the 2, the 3, and then they have to figure out how they're going to get the Canadian players across the border because there's a Canadian division and the border has been closed for the last year
good
or
point.
so they'll figure this all out. Go ahead.
Last question.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure. I haven't with the NFL draft. I haven't got a chance to follow hockey, but I heard that,
When did you before
I
follow?
heard that Andre Fleury might be almost at 600 wins, and he's having a good season. Is that correct?
Marc-Andre Fleury is a bona fide Hall of Famer,
I agree.
and he may retire as one of the best goaltenders of all time.
Oh, thank you.
And the Las Vegas Knights are an odds-on favorite to win the cup this year.
I'm pulling forward.
Well, you didn't know. I told you a couple weeks how good he was doing, buddy. Your friend
I
even.
wanted
How
to
did
get
he forget?
confirmation.
How did
I
you
wanted to
forget?
get
How did you forget when somebody texted you to talk more about Fleury? And I said I don't know much more than he had a great season and was benched, and they got a goaltender to replace him. And you thanked me,
I needed 2 sources.
Smoking Jim. You thanked me for that. Now you're not an honest man. What happened? Chip, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Like I say, we always make mistakes. I've made plenty of them in sports. And
Yes.
unlike Smoking Jim,
I own it.
yeah.
I own it.
And I don't tell you I'm gambling, and I win all the time. Because last year, I'll just share that he went a whole month without winning. And he did that not once, but he admitted to one at the end of the year, the beginning of this year. Yeah, just recently, Nick, I think he talked about he lost $3,000
In a month, yeah.
in 1 month.
Yeah.
That's where he kept records, which is the first time in over 9 years that I've known him that he ever kept records, because he just says he has
Almost
$250 to
got some of
bet.
that money back from the Pirates. I got a lot of it back.
You're struggling. I'm glad the Pirates are doing well, Smoking Jim. You keep betting
They're
against
doing
them.
well.
Keep betting against them.
How well were you doing when they had that winning streak?
I lost $3,000.
All right, let's stop with Smoking Jim and his grandiose betting schemes. We'll go with Nick.
All
What's
right.
on your mind, Nick?
Well, officially a graduate, so hooray to that.
Get
Smoking
a
Jim, there's your
close-up.
proof.
Get a close-up on that.
Don't need
Connor.
a book because I got this.
Hold it steady. Connor will get that going.
Looks a little
Anthony will
thin.
coordinate.
Looks a little thin.
Yeah, well.
Open it up.
Oh, well, the degree's not in here.
Okay.
So I was trying to
then
keep
leave
it
it
a
like
secret.
it is for Connor.
There you go, right there. Right. Yeah.
Just checking.
Getting the degree next week, but here's your proof, Smoking Jim. No book needed. I got an education.
I'll
There we
wait
go.
till
Where-
next
oh,
week.
there it is.
I'll wait till next week to clap.
Okay, you got it.
I'll clap now because I know you're an honest young man. Unlike the guy sitting there that brags about honesty and won't tell us whether he's a winner or loser over the year.
Yeah, well,
Did you win more than you lost
I got a pigskin.
in 2020?
yeah, because there it is.
All right, Nick, what else is on your mind besides the degree?
Well, my buddy's in a slow pitch softball league for adults, so I'm going to be announcing some softball this Saturday. So
Are they
got a
paying
little
you?
gig. No.
Ah,
Well, if they win, they will, because the payouts are pretty big from
Oh,
what I
yeah.
heard. But
yeah.
yeah,
I was wondering.
I
That's
get
why
I get
I
paid
asked.
as well as they do. So they're-
Okay.
that's
Slow,
just the
slow
insider
pitch
there.
softball.
Yeah.
Piece of advice. Slow down.
Yeah.
He'll do his best. I know that. I've heard him in action. I've heard him.
It's not a race to see how many words you can get in
Oh,
from
I
the
know.
time the ball leaves the pitcher's hand till it reaches the batter.
No, he's announced.
No,
he's
I've done it
announced
before.
baseball.
I'm not,
He
yeah, I love
knows.
baseball and softball.
Yeah, well, baseball takes the blink of an eye.
I've done it before. But I see what you. Oh, he's making fun of the sport.
No, yeah,
maybe-
like
maybe
me
a
be a
little bit.
clown. That's so against my
Oh.
nature.
Where does he get that humor? He
Beats
pulled it
me.
out. Well, good luck on that. And if they
you.
pay you, it doesn't matter. It's experience and it looks good on the resume.
That's what I'm saying.
You missed it.
And
I did.
I got a surprise tonight. My segment has been solidified in the control room. So
All
you'll get the
right.
first glimpse of that today.
That's what's up.
Wow.
That's what's
I
up.
can't wait to
Big
see
time.
it.
And that's what's on my mind.
Congratulations, Nick.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Nick.
I can't wait till
Congrats.
next week. I can't wait
I'm
till
glad I
next week.
promoted you here without nepotism.
Yeah. Yes. No nepotism.
I'm proud of that. Even though you're in Green Tree and I grew up in Green Tree. I respect that.
First diploma I ever seen that was empty.
Smoking Jim, I just want to see one of your numerous degrees that
Did
you
they
got.
I got a pigskin.
Didn't you get a degree in
Did you hear what he
kindergarten?
got?
or-
A pigskin.
Oh,
pigskin.
I'm here to tell you all, he's got more degrees than a thermometer.
But have you seen them? Have you seen them? We've
On a
only
ther-
heard.
On a thermometer, yes.
Okay, that's. I'm still looking for the 17 witnesses.
It's like this thick.
Bring it in. Who gave it to you? Can you tell me their name?
They mailed it to
Bill
me. I didn't
Neal.
go to graduation.
Bill Neal.
Yeah. That was good shit. That was good.
You know what? That's spot on. They do stuff like that. Wow. All right, what's on my mind? I have no idea that all the hoopla for the start of the season for the Steelers, now they come out with all the schedules. And I heard, I don't know, I was watching ESPN a lot, and I heard we have the toughest schedule in the NFL. How does that even happen?
17 and 0.
Wow.
I'm sure.
Well, Smoking Jim gave his prediction. They don't want to be great, just 8-8 and 1.
Yes.
He figured it out. So I'm optimistic. We'll see what happens. We need a lot of good things, like we need some offensive linemen. We need Najee to play well. We need Ben not to throw 50, 60 times a game. And we'll see what happens. And hopefully the defense, even though they lost a few guys, they play well. So it's 4 months away. I'm optimistic. That's how I am, Smoking Jim. And I think it'll be Big Ben's last year. I think that's it. And they didn't plan for another quarterback. So we got a bunch of years that will be similar to what you call the Pirates. And that's my NFL scout opinion. Thank you very much. And we'll be back with some fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Steelers show blitz. He throws the pass up. It's going to be picked up. James Harrison has it. He's running up the sideline. 25-30.
So many times people come up to me and they'll be like, Amy, why do you volunteer for Bethel Park TV?
The best thing about working at BPTV is I get to go out and explore the community.
You come up and you talk about things that you love and things that you want to share.
Everybody has something different to bring to the table. What do you have to bring to the table?
When you say, how can I give back? How can I give back? How can I give back? Who would I donate to? It's not always about money. It's about time.
Put forth your story, tell your tale to Bethel Park TV.
It's just opens your mind to so many different things.
I absolutely love it with my heart, with my soul, because I know what it does for the residents of Bethel Park.
Please come up and visit.
Come on out to Bethel Park. We're here, and we're welcoming you with open arms. Come on out and share with us.
Hello to everybody at Bethel Park. My name's Anthony Veltri and I'm a current volunteer here at BPTV. Now what does BPTV stand for? Well, it stands for Bethel Park Television. And a fun fact about Bethel Park Television is it's its own public access television station. So that means that you can come here, give us your show, we'll make it, and we'll publish it to live television. And another fact that you can also be an intern or a volunteer here at BPTV. And it's all thanks to our facility director, Dave Cable, for allowing me to become a former intern and now a current volunteer. Thank you all so much, and I hope to see you soon at BPTV.
Steelers show blitz. He throws the pass up. It's going to be picked up. James Harrison has it. He's running up the sideline.
25-30. We gotta hear that story sometime. I gotta run out of here after the show.
I'm going to New Ken with you.
8:30.
I'm going to New Ken.
But
What's her name?
Well, the one thing, I got my dog some dog food that prevents pregnancy. My dog got pregnant. I'm throwing them T-bones in the yard.
Smoking Jim,
I thought it was a boy.
Let me interrupt you.
You
even just said I'm buying him food. So obviously you're the owner of a dog that you don't know is male or female.
Well, after this litter, it won't be no more. I found some dog food that will stop pregnancy in dogs. So I didn't know it was a girl. But anyhow, El Levine, to talk real quick. Connor, how many kids is in your graduating class? You know how many? No. About 300 maybe. Nick, how many was in your graduating class? High school?
Oh, about 200. 200.
I think about 200. Same with Anthony Carrick, so it's about half graduated. El Levine, how many was in your graduating class?
I think over 500.
500?
Over 1,000.
Over 1,000. See, Chip's like me. See, my graduating class was 1,500. And that's the reason why I can't remember guys I played baseball with. I don't know if it was like that with you, Chip.
Yeah, but there's only like 18 guys on a baseball team.
Not
1,500.
I love how you tried to make that make sense.
The whole school played baseball.
Disclaimer, they don't teach math at Gateway.
Not to me. But
See,
Elevate-
that's the
Not
truth.
to me.
But check this out, Elevate, the Chip made, because Chip came from a big area like me. We didn't have teams. You tried out. It was like the NFL draft. You went to a tryout, and then the coaches would call you that night, and you would be on this team or that team. And all I could remember was every year a coach would call me because they always called me Violet Blue for some reason. They thought I threw like Violet Blue. But Elevator Talking Machine, they get on the phone, and I'm paraphrasing. They were like, we know you can play every position but catcher, because I didn't play no catcher. But they said,
Folks, this is all.
we need you to pitch. But Elevator Talking Machine and Chip, as I wrap this up, that's the reason why, and Chip may be able to relate to this, even though your dad coached you. We tried out. So you didn't know whose team. You got a call in so many rounds. You know, I was always a first round choice.
The difference is, my father and I butted heads, so he put me on somebody else's team and let them coach me, because all we did was, well,
Was it like
I was a little stubborn.
Yes.
Was it like my area where you tried out
No,
and then
Smoking
they
Jim,
called?
I got to interrupt you because your story sounds very good and exotic.
That's the truth.
And you said there were very few black guys there.
None.
Okay, so you were the only black guy
Violet Blue.
trying out for baseball, and Vita Blue was popular when you were a young man, so that's why they called you that. But if you made the
So
team,
you aged yourself
Yes,
right there.
right.
You hear what I'm saying, player?
yes, yeah, that's
you
why I'm
left-handed too?
emphasizing it for Chip.
Huh?
Are you left-handed?
Was Violet Blue left-handed? No, I never seen
No, he was more like Bob Gibson. He was actually like Bob
Nobody called me
Gibson.
Bob Gibson.
You
They
look
did
like
call me-
Bob
But
Gibson.
they did call me Violet Blue.
Well, my point of this is,
I should have stuck
you
with
have a
baseball.
good story with 1,000 kids trying out for baseball.
Yes, at least.
But Chip gave the best point to your whole conversation.
Uh-huh.
They whittled it down somehow to Vita Blue and 17 other kids.
Okay.
So you can ask any of us, whatever teams we've been on, even Connor, who you always refer back to. Do you know one kid on your team, Connor? Smoking Jim, do you know one kid on your team?
I can't remember. I think my first baseman was Connor.
Who was the last name that I mentioned? I rest my case. Smoking Jim, none of that do I believe. If you can't tell me the coach and catcher, you didn't pitch or play. I rest my case again every month.
I played
Sorry,
my way
folks.
through Pony and Legion.
No way.
I could name you at least 5 people on my teams from like when I was
Look
12
how
to
young
like.
you are.
I can tell you, I'll be 65, and my catcher was Greg Kirby.
Name one black player on your team.
We didn't have any.
But you expect me to remember all the white players?
Here,
on my team?
I'll tell you the one black kid that played baseball in Green Tree Little League.
Affirmative action?
No, they lived on my street.
Really?
Pud Evans.
There go the neighborhood.
2 black families lived on my street.
Woo!
Let's move to Chip Hayner next. Enough with Smoking Jim.
Well, good evening, everybody. And normally I hop into the Wayback Machine and I talk about great baseball players of the past.
Yes, what do you have tonight?
Well, what I have tonight is a couple of great baseball players of the present.
Ooh, yay!
Ooh.
People
And
like
2
that.
people that I'd like to mention. One of them has been talked about in conversations regarding the Pittsburgh Pirates and their ever-lengthening injured reserve list, which another player went on today, Phillip Evans,
Yeah.
with a hamstring, who went on the injured reserve list as our starting first baseman went on the injured list.
Yeah.
Now our backup first baseman's on the injured list. So first one I will talk about is one Albert Pujols.
Yes.
Yay.
Albert Pujols is unemployed. Albert Pujols is a first baseman designated here, currently a free agent. He has played in Major League Baseball for the St. Louis Cardinals for 11 seasons and for the Los Angeles Angels for 10 seasons. With the Cardinals, Pujols was a 3-time National League MVP. a 9-time All-Star.
Wow.
After joining the Angels in 2012, he made one All-Star appearance in 2015. A right-handed batter and thrower, he stands 6'3", 235 pounds. As a rookie for the Cardinals in 2001, he was unanimously voted National League Rookie of the Year. He played consistently for the Cardinals, contributing to 2 World Series championships in 2006 and 2011. After the 2011 season, he became a free agent and signed a 10-year contract with the Angels. He has the dubious distinction of having the Major League Baseball all-time record for most times grounded into a double play.
Wow, I didn't know that.
395.
I didn't know that.
With
Wow.
14 seasons of 100 or more RBIs produced, he is one of only 4 players in Major League Baseball history to have topped 2,000 RBI in his career, surpassing Alex Rodriguez for the third place on the official all-time list.
Got it.
Well, Chip, I gave a stat last week when you weren't here that there's 3 guys that have 3,000 hits and 600 home runs.
Yeah, well,
I
I'm
announced
getting
that
it.
last week because I was talking a little bit about Pujols, so carry on.
During the 2020 season, he passed Alex Rodriguez. He collected his 3,000th career hit in 2018, becoming the 32nd player in Major League Baseball history to do so. Now, I say that, the 32nd player, way back in September of 1972, Roberto Clemente was the 11th.
Right.
How many order now?
32.
32.
Wow.
Did you miss
I was
that?
paying attention.
Did you miss
Pujols
that?
became
He said
the
it
4th
twice.
member of the 3,000 hit club to also hit 600 home runs, joining Willie Mays
Yeah. He
Hank
just
Aaron,
turned 90. 90-year-old Willie
and
Mays.
Alex Rodriguez. So for his career, he has, and his statistics are through May 4th, where he was released by the Los Angeles Angels. Career batting average of .298, 3,253 hits, 667 home runs, 2,112 runs batted in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Where's he at? You're right. Smoking Jim just asked where Barry Bonds is.
Yeah, where he belongs.
Yes. Perfect timing, Chip.
Yeah, where he belongs.
Yeah.
He
That was perfect.
he belongs in the same Hall of Shame as Pete Rose. So, I brought up Albert Pujols because there's been talk, why don't the Pirates sign
Grab him.
Albert Pujols? And I think it would be kind of a foolish thing to do, being that the Pirates have completely blown up the team, and basically they are trying to develop young talent. And I think what I would rather see is this kid they brought up that's starting at first base for them tonight, Will Craig.
Yeah.
I'd rather see him attempt to play because he can play in the field and he can bat. See, Albert Pujols is no longer a viable option at
41
playing
years old, at
for
41,
first
yeah.
base. So he would only make sense for an American League team, but here's what the problem is. He's batting 159. Okay, so he does have 5 home runs this year, but if your only job is to be a designated hitter, you need to get more than 1.5 hits every 10 at-bats.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just
Well-
saying. So the next player that I'd like to bring up, and I do believe that he will be a future Hall of Famer as well, is none other than Miguel Cabrera.
Oh, yeah.
Miguel Cabrera
choice.
has won 4 batting titles, including 3 in consecutive seasons in 2011 through 2013. In 2012, Cabrera became the first player since 1967 to win the batting Triple Crown, leading the American League with a .330 average,
Right.
44 home runs, 139 runs batted in. And Jim, who was the last player to hit for the Triple Crown?
Barry Bonds.
Carl Yastrzemski.
Oh, I knew that.
I was going to say somebody on the
you
Red
know it?
Sox.
I did know that. I
Something
swear.
Carl
Yeah, I knew
Yastrzemski
that,
from the Boston Red Sox.
I was going to say that.
He never heard of him.
Yeah.
That's why you said Barry Bonds.
Yes.
I was gonna say that. Yep.
That's all he knows.
All right.
Okay, so
We
you know
clarified
he has hit 30 or more home runs in 10 separate seasons.
Wow.
Driven in over 100 runs in 12 separate seasons, including 11 consecutive seasons. Has a career .313 batting average through 2020. Through 2020, he was the 34th highest career slugging percentage of all baseball players. As of May 12, 2021, Cabrera is the all-time leader in career hits by a Venezuelan-born player,
Wow.
surpassing Omar Vizquel.
Wow.
So for his career statistics, and he's on the downside of his career, and again, here's a player who no longer plays the field and is only an option in the American League.
Right.
Even though I am not a fan of the designated hitter, you know, his career batting average is .312. He has 2,878 hits, 489 home runs, 1,737 runs batted in, and he is still employed by the Detroit Tigers. So I thought I would talk about a couple of players that could potentially become Hall of Famers,
Sure.
because there's not a whole lot on the horizon right now.
Oh, yeah.
Nick, you had a
Definitely.
question.
Well, no, I was going to say Miguel Cabrera is the only player in Major League Baseball history to have 4 home runs in a single game and his team lose.
Really?
I do remember that weird stat about
Wow,
him too.
that is a weird stat.
I was
there
like,
you go.
thank you, Nick.
You know what? I have been one-upped.
Yeah, the young kid.
Nice job,
I
Nick.
think
Guess
that
what,
happened to
Smoking Jim?
No.
He knocked it out
I
of the
think that
park.
happened with Carl Yastrzemski too.
Wrong.
Didn't you just hear
Wrong.
about that guy today?
That's the last name he heard.
Is
He's
it-
as good as the last name when I mentioned Connor.
Here's a question
Now
for
Carl
Chip. Here's a
Yastrzemski.
question for Chip. Will any of those guys be unanimously voted in?
I doubt it.
Doubt it.
I doubt it. You know what? You know, there's
Baseball's
been one.
like that.
There has been one. If Babe Ruth wasn't a unanimous selection,
Or
if
even
Ty
Honest
Cobb
Wagner.
or Honest Wagner were
Oh.
not unanimous selections, you know, it's you know, it's hard. Mariano Rivera, I believe that he was deserving of being unanimous selection.
Yeah.
The only one, and wasn't there one sports writer who didn't vote for Derek Jeter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The captain of the Yankees, just so he could make a name for himself
Sure.
off of Derek Jeter's coattails.
It was the ego. Put the ego
No,
right
you
on.
know, that's one thing I hate about sports writers. Like one that I'm currently not enthralled with is Adam Schefter, who decided to start a story about Aaron Rodgers with really no facts whatsoever.
Right.
But he just decided, well, you know what? I'm going to make this about me instead of reporting the news. I'm going to become the news.
Right.
And that's not what a reporter should be doing.
Hey, that's what today is. Definitely.
Me.
All right. Thanks, Chip. I appreciate your 2 prospective Hall of Famers that Smoking Jim wasn't aware of. Appreciate that, especially the Venezuelan information. He didn't realize there were players from Venezuela playing in the MLB. Did you?
There have been for years. Caribbean players.
He didn't know. He didn't know that.
Yeah, and he
but-
still has trouble believing that Roberto Clemente was Puerto Rican.
Right.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Black as he is, yeah.
All right.
Race card. We're going to go to Nick right now. Whatever your segment is, lay it on us, Nick. I love it.
All right.
Yeah.
Special thanks too to Anthony Veltri and Dave Cable for
I
helping
love
me
that.
get that together. It's
is
VIP
good stuff.
time.
That's it.
Good stuff.
I love it.
But
Congratulations. The owner of the studio.
Alan, come on, Nick. You're the man, Nick. You are the man.
all right.
Can
Yeah.
you say anything after that great promo?
I'd like to thank Dave Cable and Anthony Veltri for their help, and
Okay.
I clearly own this place. Bam. But
Let me see a certificate on that.
oh,
There it is.
just the orange.
Blank as could be.
Ain't that Bethel Park's colors? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, orange.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in the high school, not here,
Yeah.
though.
He just
Hey,
borrowed it
breaking
from
news, the Steelers are going to hold training camp in Latrobe this year.
Yes.
Ooh. All right, but I have an opinion, and here it is. I saw this week Angel Hernandez, an umpire in Major League Baseball, blew some calls again, and then I watched some YouTubers give some analysis, and I'm disappointed at that. They're making an argument that Angel Hernandez is part of the reason why electronic strike zones are going to come to baseball soon, and I don't like that at all. I'm very scared for that.
Explain.
Well, here's why. I mean, for all of you at home that might be traditionalists for baseball, you might be being like, well, yeah, hey, like,
Yes.
yeah, Nick, we agree with you. But apparently people around my age and younger are just like, why can't we have something fixed that calls the strike zone? Like, isn't that what baseball's about? I know.
Jim. Yeah.
Good, if you want to give your opinion.
Young. He's not young.
See, here's the problem with an electronic strike zone. You got one guy that's 6'5". You got another guy that's 5'6". Are they going to have the same size strike
No, but
zone?
Al and I were talking about this too the other day. The strike zone does change pitch to pitch. The definition of the strike zone is where the batter strikes at the pitch from the midpoint between the shoulders and the waist to where the bottom of the knee is, roughly. So
Supposedly.
Right. So that can change pitch to pitch. Umpires should be able to see that, but I feel like the umpires like Angel Hernandez, who are just like not good and have been documented as being just not good, steal the spotlight away from umpires who do well. I saw there was an umpire in a game this week, John Lipka, who had 99% accuracy based on a baseball statistics website. 99% accuracy on pitches. He had almost a perfect game calling balls and strikes, and the one pitch he missed was borderline at the top of the zone. So not usually called anyway. But I hate the fact that now we're having bad umpires steal the show, potentially make it about them, have their arrogant outlooks. And now we have people who just want the simple solution of find something fixed, and it's just not going to work.
Another one of my arguments against this is that we introduced instant replay because they wanted to get the calls right. With instant replay now, do we get the calls right?
Some of them
The quick answer is no. Okay.
No, that we disagree on that.
And bad umpires have been a part of baseball for a long time, and then in Angel Hernandez, they should be graded on their performance, and there's nothing wrong with firing an umpire. I have absolutely no problem with that. But, I mean, if you want to play video games, then don't go to a baseball stadium. Don't watch the game is the way I look at it.
Well, it's not a video game thing. I think it's more just like people have this just general sense, let's just get the calls right no matter what. Or how good would it feel to have umpires just sit there with a headset calling?
Yeah, but Chip's point about replay, you can go to football and look at a call that's obvious. They make it go to replay, and then they don't correct it.
They say it's inconclusive, or they reverse it, and the evidence points in a different way.
Football is different, too, because the
officials
on
I'm
the
just
field
bringing it up with
Chip makes
replay.
a great point, and my favorite gamer, Anthony, and I agree that it should be computerized. Now let's get it right.
No.
Well, your guy got 99% right. The computer would get 100%.
Most umpires get 90% of strike calls right, and being an umpire and a player,
I
I've
respectfully
pitched,
disagree with
and
you.
I've caught, and it's just there's this relationship that you have in that battery dynamic.
Get a little dust in your eye.
If a pitch is like maybe an inch off the strike zone or an inch off the plate, that's still hittable, and if the umpire's been calling it all game, and the players know that, then you just have that relationship where the pitcher knows it's a strike, the catcher knows it's a strike, the batter knows it's a strike, I know it's a strike, so that's a strike. There's nothing definitive that can change that. As long as there's consistency, you're able to get a sense of like, okay, here's where that pitch is. It might be a slight bit off, but if it's been established that it's a strike, and that should be the nature of baseball.
Here's what the problem is with Major League Baseball right now. Is that it's no longer important to hit the baseball. This year, for I don't know how many years it's going to be in a row, the number of strikeouts is going to increase. Again, they're setting a record every year. We're striking out more than we're hitting the ball. Okay, so if we're worried about the strike zone, how about worrying about putting the bat on the ball and playing the game the way that it should be? Part of the problem with baseball in 3.5, 4 hour games is batters up there taking 8, 9, 10 pitches to get a walk or to strike out, okay? When, you know what, you get up to bat, Tony Gwynn was probably one of the greatest hitters I've seen in my lifetime. The guy could put the bat on the ball and he could hit it to any part of the field. You pitched him outside, he hit it to left field. You pitch him inside, he pulled it to right field. He hit the ball solid, and it makes the game more exciting.
And he didn't strike out a lot.
And it makes the game more exciting because you got guys running the bases, you got players making plays in the field. You know, otherwise you're sitting there watching. When a pitcher's got 65 pitches in the second inning, there's something wrong with the system.
No, and the other thing, I appreciate your opinion on this because you're young and you've played the game.
Yeah.
You know, Chip has played, I've played. Smoking Jim, we have no witnesses, has never played. And I umpired, you umpired. Chip, I don't know if you umpired at all.
I did
I thought
Little
you
League
might
games.
have. Yeah.
Little League games.
I did that with Little League games too. So we learned about that. And we had everybody putting their eyes on us, Smoking Jim. Well, guess what? I finished one game umpiring, and they asked me to do it again for the whole summer.
Connor agrees with me.
No, Connor's not even speaking.
Give me a reason, Smoking Jim.
What Alan has
for the
said,
first time on this show.
If Alan has said this once, he said this 1,000 times on this show. And his father was a referee for basketball for decades. In a well-officiated game, you don't even notice the referee.
But that's
the same way it should be in
honor of my
baseball.
dad.
The first time I heard of John Lipka was today because I saw somebody break down the game that he called 99% correct strikes.
And the only reason we hear about Angel Hernandez and his lousy umping
because he's lousy.
Because he's social media.
Yeah, today it's changed.
Well, that too, but even before social media, he was a pretty big presence. Who was the Cubs guy that he threw out of the game? Because the seventh inning stretch guy for the Cubs, I forget. Steve
I remember
something.
seeing that. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Andrew Hernandez threw him out because he called him out from the press box at the public address announcing mic.
Yes.
So I mean, he's been in the spotlight before social media even.
Well, because he isn't good.
He's just
and
not a good
social
umpire.
media makes everything blown up out of proportion, like what Smoking Jim's looking to bring up these certain
Correct,
stories.
but an electronic strike
which don't
zone
make any sense to us. We played the game, umpired the game, Smoking Jim.
An electronic strike
Talk
zone
about
will not
football.
Fix it. Yeah.
Let me thank Nick, and then we'll move on because we've chewed up a lot of time with me being late and everything else. So take us to my segment there, Anthony. Oh, On Location, live TV at its best. Thank you for the countdown. One was twice, so that was good. Smoking Jim, I got some news for all our fans and you and I. USS Fight Academy, 6 o'clock, May 22nd, Saturday night. We'll have amateur fights again, North Versailles. Limited people there still because they haven't opened it up till the end of May, I think, or first week of June. But we'll have a boxing match then. Then our friend Jimmy Hoy that took over for 3rd Street Jim, he called me at 9:30 the other night at night. And I'm like, who is this? It came up, Jimmy. And he goes, you know how he is. And he's saying hi and all that stuff. And he goes, we have boxing on June 10th. You ready to do it? He goes, I know what I have to pay you. Is that all good? I go, yes. I go, where is it? He goes, Longview Country Club in Penn Hills. So we're going to Penn Hills, and now Smoking Jim makes a face, but we've been there before in the past because it's 5 minutes from his house. But we'll be at Longview Country Club on June 10th. And then I got sad news. You guys are all going to have off. It's a Thursday night, so June 10th. Do not plan for a Pittsburgh Sportsline live show because we'll be out of the neighborhood. So we'll just take the day off and we'll regroup for the following week. So that's what we're looking at with our On Location. Then that Kathleen, I didn't mention her about needing a kidney tonight because she's supposed to get other information. She called me up the other day in the morning, and it was like 7 o'clock. I was doing my loose leaf green tea weather report, so I missed the call. She leaves a message. She goes, don't call me back till tonight because I'm not feeling well. So 7 o'clock must be her number. She called me at 7 o'clock that night. I think it was Tuesday night. and she said, I got some good news for you. First, I'm sick, and I'll be okay. And I go, okay. She goes, we talked to the marketing director, and she goes, I mentioned your name, Alan Levine, the talking machine. And he started laughing and said, he's been around for years. It'd be great to have him. So I said, thank you. She goes, I'm going to give you his number. So I called him today, and I left a voicemail. I haven't heard back, but they're looking at potentially having us do a show on a Monday night or something, that Smoking Jim and I would go out there and do a show. So sorry to be long-winded, but on location, we got a few things breaking loose on that, and we'll see what else happens. Now, we're going to be rolling into ending the show, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the Penguins since Chip was apologizing with it. First of all, it took a while to even get when they were going to play, and as Chip mentioned a couple times, Sunday at noon. And with the Islanders, I'm a little nervous from back a couple years ago with what happened. It was such a terrible performance, but what I'm hopeful this year, Chip, is the speed and the good lines and defense that we have. We have some good defensive players.
Barry Trotz knows how to beat the Penguins in playoff hockey. Now, the Penguins were 6-2 against the New York Islanders this year.
Right.
But you
throw that out.
You throw that, crumple it up, and throw it in the garbage can, because the slate's clean, and playoff hockey, things tighten up.
Defense rules.
And mistakes get pounced upon and make the difference in the game.
And Chip, you made a couple good points the last few weeks when we talked about the playoffs and the Cup. You were saying Jarry, I think he's been in one playoff game.
One.
Yeah, and he has no real experience. And
neither did Matt Murray before he helped us.
Right, I was going to bring
Cups.
that up, but the Smith doesn't have any at all. So we're in uncharted territory, but it's not necessarily bad because look what Murray did, his first couple years.
Well, and I think
we have that hope.
What the key is going to be is they've got to play solid defense in front of them.
Yeah,
if the shots on goal, he's got to get clean looks at them so he gets a chance to block them.
Right.
So, turnovers in their own zone, they can't let that happen.
Well, you brought up a key point with Letang playing more like a system player, and he's been more patient, and he still has the talent and the speed. He still has that speed to get around, and he does make some defensive plays.
But here's what Chris Letang doesn't have to have the big red S on his chest for the Penguins to win. If he just does his job and sees to it that he's going to get opportunities to score.
Oh yeah.
But he doesn't need to try to be the leading scorer on the team.
Right.
They've got plenty of offensive firepower, and Jeff Carter was just a fabulous signing.
Oh yeah.
And Hextall, great job bringing him in. But more importantly, Hextall did not monkey around with anything. And I did fail to bring this point up earlier. I feel that Mike Rutherford is deserving of Coach of the Year. That he won't win the award this year because Rob Brindamore, the head coach of the Carolina Hurricane, is going to win it hands down because the Carolina Hurricanes scored, put up 80 points, won their division. Not only did they win their division, they won their division that included the defending Stanley Cup champions, Tampa Bay Lightning. And nobody saw Carolina doing what they did this year. And Carolina is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Chip. We're starting to run out of time, but I'm still hopeful for the Penguins. I think it'll be different than 2019, and we can move on, and we'll just enjoy the games. Because look, in Pittsburgh, we're talking about another championship, which look how spoiled we are. So I appreciate it. Let's go Pens. Thanks to Smoking Jim, Chip Painter. Smoking Jim, we're going to have a script from you because you're so off tangent there with lack of truth. We can't verify anything. Nick, great to see the VIP. That was just an awesome new segment. I'm glad I brought you on board and you were reluctant. Now you're a superstar. So please stay Joey strong.